Well, something happened on Obamacare yesterday. Our lawless president, well, he issued another fiat, and I wanted to bring our dear friend, the nation's expert on Obamacare, Betsy McCoy, on the program. Betsy, before I ask you about this, I want you to hear Obama today with the French president in front of the whole world. Go.
Alex de Tocqueville.
Betsy McCoy, is it Alex?
Alexis de Tocqueville.
I mean, Betsy funny. McCoy, if this were anybody else, they'd be mocking him for 3 years, wouldn't they?
Of course, but, you know, he shows the same unfamiliarity with that great figure from American literature and history as he does with the founders of our country. He just doesn't get it right because he seems to know nothing about our history.
Well, let me ask you this. What did he do now, and what does it... It's bigger than what people say.
Oh, it's much bigger. In fact, it's frighteningly large. Yesterday, he announced a delay in the employer mandate, the requirement that's written out in the Affordable Care Act very clearly in black and white, that beginning in January 2014, employers with 50 or more full-time workers have to provide the one-size-fits-all government-designed health plan. Well, he's delayed it before, and now he's delayed it again, and he portrayed it as a mere tweaking. But this mandate delay, it was a political act, a cynical political act, and rule of law and taxpayers be damned. It's going to add about $25 billion the first year to the tab for this Obama health law, and taxpayers will have to absorb that cost. But even worse is the cost to all Americans in losing the rule of law, in watching our right to self-government, the protection of the rule of law ripped away from us.
Yeah, and the Republicans seem to be without recourse. Is the system so out of kilter? Have we become so unhinged from the Constitution that this is the new norm? Because I'm concerned it might be.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's all right.
It's very frightening to see that only one party now even articulates any commitment to the Constitution. During the President's recent State of the Union message, when he vowed that he would use his pen and his telephone to take action when Congress refuses to, what he was saying is he's going to govern by executive fiat. The Democrats stood up and applauded. What is their role in the system of government? They are part of the lawmaking branch of government, but they have failed to stand up for the Constitution even though they took an oath to uphold it.
You know, Betsy McCoy, what's concerning me at this point is this is becoming acceptable. It's becoming blasé. The president's becoming bolder and more brazen. I think the Republican leadership is really confused and impotent in their own way. And,
very weak.
Very weak.
We saw it today with the vote on the debt ceiling. Mm-hmm.
So this has a tendency to spread throughout the Republican ranks, I'm afraid.
Yes. Let me point out the most dangerous provision in this U.S. Treasury IRS regulation. Of course, it was many pages, but on page 125, 126, it said that employers with 50 to 99 workers who want to qualify for this delayed mandate must sign a statement filed with the IRS that they have not changed the size of their workforce or the hours of their workers in order to get around Obamacare, in order to accommodate the law or avoid the costs of the law. Because last year so many employers in the newspapers, on television, on radio every day were complaining about the costs of Obamacare and how they were pushing down the hours of their workers or refusing to hire more people because they had to get around this very costly law. Well, now with the midterm elections coming, the Obama administration wants to gag those employers and make it too costly for them to speak out about the cost of this law, the impact of this law on their hiring practices. So they are literally threatening them with the penalty of perjury.
I just want to underscore this. What you're saying is that what Obama and his... By the way, this IRS is absolutely unbelievable. Not only going after the Tea Party movement, but... Look at what you just said here. The IRS is the tool through which Obama now tries to affect the outcomes in elections.
Oh, yes. Nothing in American law bars an employer from making a business judgment to reduce his workforce. But the administration now warns that Big Brother will be deciding whether a business has a legitimate reason for that change or did it to avoid Obamacare.
So a legitimate reason is not to save money as a result of Obamacare.
That's right. That's not a legitimate reason. Mm-mm.
That is absolutely, I haven't heard that anywhere else. That's absolutely stunning. And
it is stunning. But look at what else the IRS is doing. This regulation that was announced way back in November but is finally getting some attention will actually prevent us from having a fair election this fall, a fair midterm election. If this regulation goes through, it's being pushed by the IRS and by none other than New York State's senior senator, Chuck Schumer.
And why is that? Because these businesses can't come out and contradict what they've signed, I guess.
No, this is a different regulation now. There was a hearing on this last week in Congress, and I hope people will really focus on this. This IRS regulation...
with respect to the I got it, 504...
Not just Tea Party.
Yeah.
All
501c4s,
low tax groups, fiscal responsibility groups, freedom groups of all sorts will not be able to print brochures rating the candidates or hold debates or get out the vote efforts. They will be prohibited from participating in the election. But their counterparts who support the Democrats, the shadow army of the Democratic Party, the unions, they will not be muzzled by this regulation. It applies only to 501c4s, not-for-profit groups. Unions are 501c5s. So suddenly you have a very uneven playing field. It would be like telling one football team to suit up for the game and then telling the rival team they have to play without shoes or helmets.
This, Betsy, is why I said that the Republicans should not attend the State of the Union. Instead, they should get out on the Capitol steps or somewhere, and somebody should explain to the American people that the State of the Union is treacherous, it's dangerous, and get into specifically the lawlessness that defines this administration, the president and his departments and agencies, because that's how you're going to talk to tens of millions of people, not muffled through the media, which just writes you off.
Well, fortunately, you are the voice of liberty, and you can explain to the people this president has a vast regulatory machinery, and he's going to try to make a sham of this 2014 election by using the IRS and the other departments of government to literally prevent a fair election.
Mm-hmm. Well, Betsy McCoy, you're terrific, and we really appreciate you coming on, and God bless you, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. It's always a privilege to talk with you.
Well, you take care of yourself. That is a patriot. I mean, that's one person who's read Obamacare from beginning to end. But more than that, she's an excellent lawyer, too. And the fact of the matter is, she's right about the IRS. The IRS is completely out of control. Let me tell you something. Why hasn't the leadership proposed, whether they get it passed or not, make the case to the American people, either a fair tax or a flat tax or some kind of major reform that puts the IRS back in a box if it doesn't eliminate it? Why aren't these proposals even made and debated and argued? Why are we always standing on the left's playing field? Why are we always playing by their rules? This is what's so damn frustrating to me. We've got men and women in Republican leadership who are so busy climbing the ladder, protecting what's theirs, running for re-election, being bought and paid for by the Chamber of Commerce and all the rest. Where are our ideas? Where's our case? The IRS is a disaster. 90% of the American people who pay taxes in this country despise it. Yet what do we do about it? Nothing. The American people hate Obamacare, but what do we do about it? Nothing. And they're not going to do anything until they're changed.